Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the One Shot Entertainment Podcast. My name is Chris Famularo, and joining me today, good buddies Tommy Rinaldi, Valentino Petrarca, and Ryan Clayton. Gentlemen, how are we all doing? Starting with Val.
Phenomenal. Thanks for asking. Really incredible. No, I don't know if you can tell. I got this shirt for Christmas, and pretty much I'm just rocking it. Like I'm thinking, this is my new identity now. I'm gonna be the ugly duck shirt guy
with a fedora.
Oh yeah,
well, he's always been fedora boy.
I've always been fedora kid.
So. You look like if Johnny Depp never made money.
It's actually really good.
You
just need more accessories.
That's all I got for this podcast.
The most accurate assessment.
That's really funny because I feel like if Johnny Depp made no money, that'd be my life.
Oh my god! Just don't find an Amber Heard. Just don't do that.
Oh boy.
Ooh, topical. All right. Well, since Ryan made a funnier comment than Tommy did, Ryan, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing actually very well. I'm feeling good about things. So yeah, I've been in a very good mood these past couple weeks. So
ominous but positive. I like it.
How's that ominous?
Because he didn't go into any detail. He's like, I'm doing well, and then no details. Totally fine, but no details.
Why?
I have never been more of a free man.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well. Okay, Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be back on. It's nice to be in front of the camera. I've been doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff recently, and it's nice to be with some friends and talk about some wacky stuff once again.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing this is a pretty good transition since just to give everybody a little bit of idea, we are currently recording this a couple days before Christmas, so this video will go up I think the 23rd. So this will be the last video, or I will say it'll probably be the last video for One Shot between now and the new year. There may or may not be some videos coming out in between then. Not sure at this moment, but right now everybody's going to take a break. Everybody's been working hard, been pumping out ideas and making videos, editing videos, stuff like that. So this podcast is probably going to be the last one for 2020. But I think that is a pretty good way for us to kind of reflect on this year. As I've said numerous times on this podcast and on other shows, this year has been god-awful for many different reasons. But one of the few good things has been this channel for myself and for Tommy. So, Tommy, how do you feel about One Shot and this whole process and kind of reflect on the year for both of us, and then when we expanded to include some other people?
I think we tried to start this back in March, a few days before everything shut down, and it was just me and you in my dining room. It was kind of well recorded. My battery went out in my camera a couple of times, so it wouldn't have been the best episode, but we brought it back in late May, I believe, and since then we've been on a really good roll. I've been really, really appreciative to all the fans and people watching. We have, I believe, 66 subscribers at the time of this video. And that's really exciting for me. That's pretty quick growth for something that we just started during quarantine. It's been a really nice outlet to get out creativity, but also to see my friends because, I mean, as we've talked in the past, I don't drive, so I don't get to see my friends that often. And this is a nice way to still interact and still have fun and just get all of my creative energy out. But I'm really proud of everything that we've started, whether it's the movie reviews with X in the mix. I'm really proud of. We had a great video come out today with Ryan Clayton. I'm proud of the one-shot white belts that I've done with Cole. I'm proud of everything that we've really put out, and I'm really excited for what's to come in 2021. There's a lot of things on the plate that we're trying to get things produced behind the scenes that will come out at some point in 2021. But it's nice to have this community, whether it's the fans or the community that we've built, bringing in these new people. And I couldn't thank Chris enough for all the hard work he's put into it. He has a job and he's still putting in almost more time than me with this stuff. So thank you to him. And I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I am too. It's been a lot of fun. In the Mix has probably been one of the things that I am the most proud of, solely for the fact that I think it requires the most editing of any video that we put up. So like Quarantine Catch Up, Tommy, you were the one that edited those, and you had to do some of the filtering. That there wasn't much filtering, but whatever there was, you had to do. And even for this podcast, there's not that much editing. And one, Shooter's Gallery is not that much of really an editing either. That's, it's really dependent if the people give me stuff to put into the video. Like Mike Tully gave me a bunch of stuff to put in the video. But in the mix is, if you watch the most recent video today with Ryan, that video has so many graphics and
they look great.
Music, and thank you. It's so much fun, and it really allows for me to kind of get my editing practice, kind of back into swing. I know that's something Val had talked about on the previous podcast, that he wanted to get some editing practice in. So maybe I'll shove that onto his shoulders. just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'll take some of it gladly.
All right, well, let's continue on, the reflecting and the positivity of this year. Val and Ryan, can you, one at a time, not the same time, one at a time, tell me something that you are proud of doing this year?
Hey, Val, every other word, right?
Yeah.
I
am
proud
of.
Keep it going. I'm ready.
None.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? You want to go first, Val?
Right there. You just, but all right.
One of you, go.
Someone say something.
Ryan, go.
Okay, fine. You didn't hear me ask. All right, fine. What am I proud of this year? Getting back to school. I had a really rough fall semester of 2019. So that impacted some stuff for 2020, some mental issues, some substance abuse issues. So, getting back to school was super awesome. That just kind of showed my ability to grow as a person. I feel like mentally, for the most part this year, I really got a good handle on certain things. Sleep improved a lot this year for me. I used to have the worst sleep cycle, and during quarantine, it got pretty okay, and I would say it's good now. What else? It's not something like I would have I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. It's not something that, like, under normal circumstances I would be proud to do, but, like, in a sense, I'm proud of my actions, and that would be protesting this year. We saw a lot of racial injustice this year, and, I was happy to, lend my voice, mostly lend my ear and just listen. I was proud of that. Doing a semester under COVID was incredibly challenging at times. And then getting my sobriety. I've been sober a year now from alcohol, so that's been that's been a blessing. Thank you guys. So yeah, that was kind of my 20. That's some of the things I'm grateful in 20.
All right, Val, mount up to that.
Yeah, don't know if I can do that. No, but yeah, first
competition.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, no. I had the better 2020. No, I'm joking. It was good. Yeah, no, I've talked to you about this before, but again, being friends with you, Ryan, for a few years now, definitely seeing all those awesome changes you've made and seeing how you're, the same person, but a different person in the same way is absolutely awesome. It's been an honor to take that journey with you. Yeah. In terms of me, I guess, I'll say 2020 was the year I kind of got my life together in a weird way. I think 2020 was like weirdly 2019 and 2018 were like the most fun years I've had in my entire life, but 2020 is the year I actually was the most helpful, I think, for me, on so many fronts. And I think a large portion of that is that those that know me know I'm a bit of a concert addict. Like, I love to go to concerts. They're like the thing that gives me the most fulfillment and happiness in life is just attending live shows. And with live shows being taken away from us so early in the year, I kind of had to force myself to do things I've always wanted to do, but never gone and done. Things that I knew would be very important to me, very beneficial to me, but just would never have the time to. Because, those that know me know I work. I'm a full-time student. I'm a full-time manager at an FM radio station. I work with Pirate TV. I work with the TV station. I do my schoolwork. Like, pretty much I'm juggling a million different things at once, and I never get the time. And when I do have free time, I go to shows typically. I think in 2019, I went to 48 concerts in the year, which is just wild to think about. But yeah, this year, specifically the things I think I got my life under control were, I've always wanted to be in shape, I guess. I've never been out of shape, but I was never in shape. I was either heavy or very, very scrawny. You know what I mean? I was never fit. So that being said, once the pandemic hit, and I want to say March, I just started doing push-ups like 20 a day. Then it slowly amped up to 40 a day, then 60 a day. And right now I'm at 120 push-ups a day that I do. And I do like sit-ups and stuff. And I really feel that my body physically, I'm the most fit I've ever been in my entire life. I'm seeing muscle definition in my arms, in my chest. It really is a phenomenal confidence booster. And just again, I never would have had the time to get in shape if it wasn't for the pandemic. And I'm going to continue this now that I have a routine. I've been practicing this routine of working out every day for a year now. So now that I've got that routine, I can take that with me in future years. And I know that it's possible that I can do that. So that's super cool. Another thing is, when I go to shows, I go to punk shows, I go to pop punk shows, always want to learn how to skateboard, never was able to do it until 2020, where I started in, I want to say May. And then by August, it was my only mode of transportation. It's how I got to school. It's how I got to the radio station at work. It's how I did a million things. I would just skateboard for hours a day. And so that's something that I've always wanted to do that I've finally been able to cross off my list. Yeah. So that was awesome. And I think probably my last thing I'm going to touch upon is overall, just I think skill set is I love editing. I love, screenwriting. Those are the things I really enjoy. But typically when you're doing schoolwork and then you go to shows and you do all this stuff, you don't have time to just expand your craft. Whereas in 2020, once a day, I would learn a new editing item, I would learn a new screenwriting item, and I would try to incorporate them. So I'd spend an hour on Premiere trying to learn something new, and then I would spend an hour on cell text writing something new that connected to the plot. You know what I mean? I wanted to really make my skill set as a filmmaker as universal and versatile as possible. And again, that would never have been possible without 2020. So I really enjoyed this year, actually. I really, really did. I mean, it had its negatives, for sure. I'm sure everyone else can attest to that. But I'm looking on the glass half full. I mean, I'm happy it went out the way it did.
I'm glad to hear that. That's how it's got to go.
I'm proud of both of you for trying to improve yourself in a personal manner, because this is really the time to do that. 2020 has been a lot of downtime for a lot of us. And I think that's something I've tried to work on as well, is trying to work on my mental health. Ryan, I'm really glad that you've been taking your steps to become a better person. Same thing with Val. Fam, when it comes to you, I want to know both the personal and the overall context of One Shot. How have you felt about this year?
In a very broad sense, this year has been one of the most, if not the most mentally challenging year of my entire life. I've gone through a lot of personal dealings, but it was stuff that was, I think, meant to happen regardless of what I did. And it's not that I'm happy that they happened, but I think I'm for the better that they did. Like with the last podcast, I feel like I have become a lot better at being introspective and trying to understand why I am the way that I am. I'll be looking into finding a therapist in 2021 so I can continue that journey, with the mental health goal that everybody strives for. It seems endless at times, but there's definitely times where you can realize that, hey, I have made steps in this. I can communicate better with people who I previously wasn't able to communicate with. I've matured in ways of handling, sometimes I'm someone who takes things very personally. I don't want things to happen that way, but I've been learning now that some people's opinions of me do not matter. Sometimes if somebody says something about me, it does not matter. So it's really just been that goal of growth and understanding of myself, and realizing that my opinion of myself is the highest one, regardless of what anybody else says. The worst thing that happened this year was probably my cat Grace died. That sucked. That was the worst thing that happened. But it was like everything, it was for the best. But in contrast to all the negative things that have happened, so many positive things have happened this year. I mean, this pandemic went on from March until now currently, and I was back to work in New York City in July making television. I was back to doing what I wanted to do. I was working in New York City. I was making sports television. I was working with professional athletes. I was working with my friends, and I was making television that I was really proud of. I learned new skill sets. I've become a much better camera operator. I've been able to share my, technical abilities on social media, and people have been able to see what I can actually do. as a professional camera operator. I have made one shot with Tommy. I mean, I have done things that I never would have expected to do. I have made, a professional interview show that, Tommy created, but I have reached out to people that I work with, people who I would have been afraid to be like, hey, come on and talk about your television experience. Making in the mix and talking about music. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and, getting better at editing. And I have so many goals for the future for content creation and just the potential of all the things that I know that I'm capable of doing, especially, with Tommy and you guys and everybody else who's interested in One Shot behind me. I feel like this is something that can be so valuable to me as a person. So I'm just really excited for all the things to come in 2021. I don't want to say it's going to be a great year because I'm pretty sure we all said that about 2020. So I'm just going to say 2021 is whatever we plan to make it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. 2020 was really tough, but for all of us, it really was a point of growth in whatever aspect it may have been. And I think everybody should be proud of that. And I want you guys to let us know down below, if you can, what has something that you've done during the year that you're really proud of, because we need to really continue to focus on the positivity of the things in our lives. It's really easy to dwell on the negative things that happen within our lives, especially during a time that has been so tough for everybody. But I want to hear what you guys have to bring to the table of what you're grateful for. In the past, I've tried to shout out a bunch of different people within my life that have been doing great things. Ryan has the Indie Hour. I mean, Val's been doing an amazing job at WSOU and Pirate TV. I gave praise to Chris earlier about what he's doing with SNY and what he's been doing for this channel, which I'm very thankful for. But I do want to hear what you guys have to say, so let us know down below.
Definitely. One of the things I definitely want to mention about what Fam just said was you were talking a little bit about how this year you were able to overcome that, some people's opinions don't matter, kind of overcome a little bit of that self-consciousness. And I think especially for people in our field, or even just in the creative field as a whole, the reason all of us are on the Zoom call today is because we are very creative people and we need an outlet kind of thing. We need to channel our creativity into something, whether that's screenwriting, editing, recording, you know what I mean? There's a million different things of this sphere that we channel our creativity in. And I think that whole fear of rejection is the worst thing in the world, because there's always going to be some internet troll that's going to be like, this sucks, I hate it. And especially for me, I know I struggle with this a lot, is not letting that one little negative comment ruin your day. You know what I mean? Even if you spend 1,000 hours on something, just let it you gotta have that tunnel vision, I guess. But no, I just kind of want to get your opinions on being a creative and just negative comments as a whole, I guess, because nothing's received 100% positively.
Yeah, I mean, a really good example of that is something I did very briefly when I was in college. I was a beat writer for Mid-Major Madness, which is a branch of SB Nation covering mid-major basketball. I wrote one article for them before I was like, I clearly know this is not for me because I'm not much of a writer. I'd rather do stuff visually. I wrote one article. It was a season preview for the MAC conference, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. I wrote one season preview. It was seen by thousands of people because it's hosted by SB Nation. So, it gets eyeballs on it. It had 2 comments on it, 2 out of 14,000 views on the article. The first comment was, this guy does not know what he's talking about. And the second one was, why would they have so-and-so player on this list? It's and I spent 2 days writing that preview. I went through each team's statistical analysis. I looked at people's points per game. I looked at all their season averages from the year prior, and I tried to give my best analytical judgment. And I remember I was doing a sportscast at WSOU when that article went up, and I looked at the comments, and it just affected me for the whole rest of the day. I was like, why? What do you mean I don't know what I'm talking about? I did the work, and I just knew from there, partially it was because I didn't want to continue writing. It's not my thing, but it's also in the sense of you're not going to please everybody. And there are people who think they know more than you do, even if they are just amateur fans or casual viewers. They're going to say, what do you mean? This guy did so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. It's something everyone in this field, no matter the medium you use, you will come across. So.
And that's the thing is, you can spend 2 days writing an article, And what did that fan probably take? 10 seconds to type that comment? 10
Mhm.
seconds, really? Like, it's the time difference that always shocks me. You know what I mean?
It's a good point. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, and I think this negativity thing, it's been something within this internet culture that we've been in, and it's really easy to get caught up in it. And I think it's just easy to just live in the present, know your worth and things of that nature. Like we're not at the point yet where we're getting internet trolls and all that stuff, but it is a grind to be like, all right, this video got less than I expected or whatever it may be. And it's just like, you know what? That's not in my control. Just keep continuing to do what you're doing and have faith in what you're doing. Because if you don't, who will? So I think that's really important to know your worth, know what you've been doing for yourself or doing for others, and to understand that what you're doing is enough if you're actually giving your all to that thing. So continue to spread positivity, whether it's within yourself or within others. And I wouldn't focus too much on the negative if you can.
Exactly. Well put.
All right. So, like I said, since we are, we're nearing the end of 2020 and we're all very excited for the end of this year and for what 2020 has to offer us. Ryan, Val, and Tommy, whoever wants to go first. Actually, no, it never goes well when I say whoever wants to go first. I'm going to tell someone. Tommy, you're going
I
to go
blame that
first.
on Val.
I blame it on Val too. You don't have to give me like a laundry list. It's what is a primary goal that you have for 2021? It can be anything. It could be professional. It can be creative. It could be personal. Whatever it is. Tommy, what is any kind of goal you have for 2021?
Therapy is one big one. That's actually going to happen sometime in January. So I'm very excited for that. Get my license. That's way overdue as well as therapy, but that's something that will help me get jobs and other things of that nature. And the third one is get a job, because that would be nice, whether it's something within our field or just something to have until I do find that job. Those are three really big goals for me. I think mental health is something that's very, very important. October is Mental Health Awareness Month. My birthday is Mental Health Awareness Day. And I think that it's really important to focus on that type of stuff. Driving for some freedom, that would be nice, just to get out, experience things in my own way instead of having to rely on other people. And then having a job, just to occupy myself, bring in money, and to really make sure that I could either build this up, build my life in other ways up. I think that's really important. So,
But Tommy, being handsome is a full-time job. I
I
don't know how
wouldn't know.
That is true.
I'm learning
Val-
from you, Val.
Val's got a good point.
With the fedora and the ducky shirt, I'm just learning from you. So
Yeah.
Do you know the saying, you'll never work what is it?
You'll never work a day.
If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Val doesn't work a day in his life because he loves being handsome.
Also, speaking of Val and days, when he was like, yeah, I do 120 push-ups, I do an hour of editing, are you one of those people who have like more than 24 hours in a day? Because I feel like you do. You're
Actually,
one of those people.
If you watch Quarantine Catch Up with me, the one that we did earlier, I dictate my average day in quarantine, and it's crazy.
It blows me away.
Wake up at like 9, work out for 2 hours, learn editing for an hour, do promo work for 4 hours, like do screenwriting for another hour. Like it was like pretty much a pretty rigid schedule of like wake up, do this, go to sleep. So I didn't really have that much free time in quarantine, weirdly enough.
Val, when you said you learned how to skateboard, is it like a true skateboard, like the regular size, or is it longboarding?
I learned both. So here's the thing: is what I learned is longboarding is obviously meant for just cruising, whereas skateboard is meant for tricks. And I first learned longboarding so I could get a handle on the board and stuff, and that was so much fun. That's kind of how I get to places. If I need to go to the store, I'll longboard to the store. If I need to go to school, I'll longboard to school. But skateboarding is more for like if I have a weekend, I want to just have some fun and stuff. Skateboarding though is where I've fallen pretty badly a few times. Like, longboarding is just easier. The trucks are thicker, so you can plow over stuff, not as easy. Whereas with skateboarding, the wheels are so small that if you hit like a little stick, it'll just fly off the board. So it's and I'm working on them both. I'm not going to be the next Tony Hawk, but I'm hoping to be. All right.
You'll be the next Rodney Mullen, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And like a huge thing that popped into my head about skateboarding is my favorite genre of all time is pop punk. I would like live and die for pop punk. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those cringe, like defend pop punk kind of guys, you know? If you can't tell by my duck shirt.
Right, Ryan's the same way with ska music.
Yeah,
Big ska guy.
Oh yeah. No, and that being said, this is gonna sound so cringe. I recognize how cringe this sounds. So I want you to bear with me and in the comments roast the hell out of me. But essentially, I feel like skateboarding helped me appreciate pop punk so much more because you can hear kind of this. Yes, I know it's cringe.
I love it.
Like, I don't know, you can hear like this like music that's like, you know, very upbeat punk fast. But when you're on the skateboard and you're going super, super fast down like a hill, like 20 miles an hour, it has like a new appreciation. And
I totally understand what you're saying. Not for
me
pop
too.
punk, but like, cause I learned how to longboard this year as well. And my favorite thing is just to be on my longboard and ride around and listen to like really like just R&B or like really just smooth music, because longboarding is just such a smooth experience depending on where you're riding, obviously. But you know, it's a cruising thing. It's like almost when you're listening to music riding a bike, it's kind of just like that. You feel like you're floating. Like on a longboard, you're just standing there and you just feel the wind going past you. So it's so nice to be like, I listened to Swimming by Mac Miller just on the day of longboarding, and it was so much fun. It's so freeing and such a nice experience.
Yeah, I totally understand that because I mean, growing up playing like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, especially like all the pop punk music, it's just like ingrained in my head. When I hear those wheels spinning, which is one of my favorite sounds in all of sports, honestly, I associate it with like Superman from Goldfinger and Sublime and like all these different bands. But I know also how hard it is. My goal when I was very young was to do an ollie. And then after that, I hit it once and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to fall anymore. I'm tired of this. But I would take up longboarding because similar to what you guys are saying, that floating feeling, it's euphoric and it's so much fun.
It's a cathartic experience. And I describe it like this, and it's genuinely how I feel. When you're going down a hill and you've got like the music playing, it's like you're surfing on concrete. Mm-hmm. And it feels like you're surfing on concrete. Like when you look down at your legs, you can just see the ground whiz by you. And I just love like doing like sharp turns. It just feels like, it feels legendary, I guess.
Legendary. I like that.
I can't believe I just said the word legendary. As soon as it escaped my lips, I'm like, wow, back in 2003, yo.
I don't think legendary ever went away.
I haven't heard it said in the last 10 years.
It's because of How I Met Your Mother.
Do you not listen to yourself when you speak?
Okay, all right. Very, very quickly, so we can just kind of continue our conversation here. Val, what is one of your goals for 2021? Could be anything.
All right. This is a goal that I've had for about 6 years now, maybe 7 years. And it's depressing because it's been on my New Year's resolutions list at number 1 for about 6 years now, consistently. And that would be to write some original music. I am a songwriter and I enjoy songwriting and I play guitar and I try to sing every now and then. The issue being is I am the most hypocritical of my work. And like, I've talked to you guys about this. I've opened up to you about this personally on separate occasions, but like, I'll write a song and like, right as I start writing a lyric, I'll just erase it and be like, no. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I've just been trying to write music since I was a senior in high school. And it's, since I was a junior in high school. Yeah, I remember when I was a junior in high school, I was like, I'm going to have 5-song EP out by December. And then like my New Year's resolution for 2020 was write a 5-song EP by December, you know? So it's just like, I keep trying, but I just get I get in my way. Like it's more me than anybody else that stops it, but that's probably my biggest goal.
I totally get that. I deal with the same thing when I'm trying to do writing, whether it's like a short story or a poem or anything like that. I write something down and I'm like, this is so pretentious. Like, why am I even doing this? And then I erase it. And then I'm like, I never get that urge out. Ryan, what about you? What's a goal for 2021?
It's 2 words, fucking graduate. you know, that date's been pushed back, unfortunately, like either whether it was like, you know, just wanting to like finish on my own time and like not stressing myself out, taking like the course load that I wanted. And then I mentioned, you know, some of the mental and substance issues I had. So I'm on pace to graduate in the spring, and we're gonna keep trucking towards that. Moreover, I guess like you know, a sub goal with that is I want to kind of finish strong with like decent like grades I'm proud of, like, you know, no, like maybe try to get everything above a C, which I think is realistic for me. So yeah, a little more focus on school and fucking graduate. Yeah.
Those are great goals to have. And fam, what's a goal for you that you're setting for yourself for 2021 before we have to wrap up in a little bit?
Oh boy. My most realistic goal is to find an apartment closer to New York to move out of home. Because right now I love living at home and my parents are wonderful. But it is time for me to find my own place. So I can be closer to all of you, because you all live in North Jersey. I mean, Ryan is the closest to me, but you know, Ryan will be moving eventually, I'm guessing, at some point. So, and you know, a goal is for
No.
Tommy and I to live together at some point. But
One day.
some other goals would probably be like start doing some video game content. You know, I'm hoping to have the pathways to put that on either this channel or my own personal channel on YouTube, and
Augers.
get better at editing and try and go grow an audience. Jesus. This man's just said poggers to me.
I think it's a Twitch term, right? It's like hell yeah.
Look at you. Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna call Ryan a grandpa earlier, but you are acting pretty grandpa-ish.
Yeah, all right. So the last PlayStation I legitimately played a lot on was the PlayStation 3. And I was like, oh, I can't wait for the 4 to come out. And that's like, it's the 5 out. And I was like, oh God. You gotta be kidding me. And then like when I realized, like, I just felt dusty. Dusty and dusty.
There's only one dusty guy in here, and it's a dust pile himself, Ryan.
Oh my God. We haven't made these jokes in years.
Now. So I'll tell it, and if I miss any parts, feel free to hop in. So the age jokes come from that, like, you know, I've had setbacks with graduation and stuff, and I do have a really early birthday, which is December 96, and like basically everyone else like in my grade was like 97 or whatever and stuff. So like I transferred to Seton Hall. So like as that stuff was going on, like I was being trained for roles that like of people of the same age as me. So it naturally, like, I just played along with the joke of, God, Ryan's so old and stuff. And dust comes from a day where in the studio, in our TV studio, we have intercoms. And we're joking around, we're having fun before shoots. And Chris, you get on the intercoms and say, listen, Dust.
Yeah, I really...
Such a rude man.
I really wrote it hard, my whole, which is what makes it even funnier, is because I'm born in May of 97, which means Ryan is only 6 months older than me.
Yeah.
But I have so much enjoyment of calling him Grandpa, Dust, old man, you know, retirement home. It's just the best. And then we have this, you know, Ryan is the only other person I think who really likes to go against me in like video games in the group. So there was a point where Ryan was better than me on Switch video games, but it's no longer, and he gets real mad about it because
yeah,
he's just not able to beat the young gun anymore.
Small of a screen, my old eyes.
Yeah, your old man eyes. Don't worry, Grandpa. I'll find your bifocal somewhere.
It was a wild moment in PTV where we're just like, oh yeah, I'm 21, and RC just goes, no, I'm 45, and we're just like,
oh, you're 21. My grandson is 17.
I have a grandson your age.
So another big thing for all of us, I think, for 2020 has been our expansion into music. Ryan and I talked about it a little bit in the mix. We did our Apple replays, our Spotify Wrapped, our Pandora's box opening, blah, 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 whatever. So what have all of you guys, it can be either an artist who released music in 2020 or someone you discovered in 2020. Who have been your artists of 2020? Ryan.
Oh, wow. You're starting with me. I just gave all my 2020 picks. Please go check out that episode, though, of In the Mix. I thought it
Do
was
it.
really good.
Please.
Self-plug. Okay, so I actually like the idea of doing an artist who I discovered in 2020 that may not have released music. And one of those artists for me was Caro Bonito.
Benito.
I got that out. What is the best way to describe her music? Or I should say their music. It's a female named Sarah and two other males in the band. Really good, really kind of like upbeat music. It's got a lot of different influences. It's got some rock, it's got some electronic, some pop in there and stuff. A lot of great songs, a lot of songs that were have been meme songs, and that's how I knew them. Flamingo, I think Sleep got big on TikTok for a little bit. So I was discovering all these songs and had heard Flamingo in the past, and I was like, you know what, I should check out the rest of her stuff. I was like, I feel like I would like it. And yeah, their stuff is amazing. So Caro Bonito was one of those bands. And then I'll say my two others quickly. Phoebe Bridgers, fucking artist of the year. She was so good. This is her year, in my opinion. I'm sure I've already said enough about her. More people might say her. And then I'll give credit to a band I didn't talk about in the Mix episode, a punk band that I really, really love, Days and Days. They're a punk folk band, and they released one of their best albums this year. Really, really liked a lot of stuff on there. I think they had a real big focus on it, and they hit it out of the park. So those are three bands I liked in 2020.
All right, Val, you're up.
Oh, thank you. No, that Days and Days record rivals some of their best work of all time. I really enjoyed that one. Oh gosh, 2020 for me was awesome. I pretty much, again, as I said, if you listen to my quarantine catch up, I listened to an album a day in 2020. Granted, once school started in September, I wasn't able to keep that up. That was one of the things that had to go by the wayside in order to fit into my schedule. But I listened to so many good records, and this is actually a shameless self-promo. I'm gonna plug myself.
What do you do, Val? Are you plugging yourself in somewhere? What's happening?
He winked.
Yeah.
He winked? How did I miss that?
I caught it.
Show. Damn it.
So to plug myself fully, I'm going to be releasing a Valentino year-end list of my top album of the year list. Grant, is going to be my top 50 records that came out in 2020. So my top 50 albums that I love the most that were released in the year 2020. Stay tuned on WSU.net for that. That's going to be coming out very soon. And it was it's been such a good year. It was hard to narrow it down to 50. I know that sounds stupid, but I had well over 80 albums, I think even 90 records. And then to cut that down to 50 was very tricky. But I think I chose my favorites. Not to spoil the list, but my favorite artist of the year, and I might even go on to say my top 3 favorite artists of the decade, because I just discovered them in 2020, but they became influential is cutting it lightly, where I think pretty much every song off of their new 2020 record and their 2018 record is 10 out of 10 flawless, perfect. I wouldn't change a note. I wouldn't change a vocal melody. I think it is, again, flawless. Would be the band Spanish Love Songs. Literally emo at its finest. The lyrics are astounding. The delivery is incredible. For those that don't know, they essentially sound like if the Menzingers and the Wonder Years kind of had a baby and it was a little bit more emo. Is essentially what their sound is like. And man, Obsessed has been putting it lightly. I've been listening to that nonstop. And for good reason too. I interviewed the lead singer, Dylan Slocum from Spanish Love Songs, and that was incredible. But they're phenomenal. Definitely got to give them credit. Bring Me the Horizon came back hard with their new album. They fell off for a long time, considering in 2019 they released a record and it was on my worst record of the year list. I think it was number 2. And then in 2020 they dropped one, and now it's in my top 5 for best albums of the year, which turned around quick.
Yeah, what a comeback.
Yeah, what a comeback. They did the total flip-flop. And I think with this new record, this is a cool saying where sometimes when a band experiments, they don't get it right on the first try. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes a while for them to master the sound they're trying to experiment. And I think that this is their record where they honed electronic EDM with pop, with heavy deathcore metal.
God
Bless
bless
you.
America.
Untitled.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bless that handsome face. No, and then so there's that. And I think if I had to pick another artist, The Used dropped an incredible record. The Wonder Years is influential as always. The Wonder Years dropped 2 songs this year from in the style of their older records, kind of going back to their roots. I'd give my left kidney just to look Dan Soupy Campbell in the eyes. Like, yeah, just to,
Not a firstborn son. Your left kidney.
oh, because I give away my firstborn son all the time.
I
All of
have
you
like
have-
100 of them.
I would literally rip out my kidney just to like gaze into his pupils and be like, I love your work. Like that man. Whew,
Love it.
Well said. Well said.
you be mama.
I don't want to follow that up, so fam, you go next.
Well, hold on. Okay, first off, Val. So there was actually a band that I found thanks to my sister. She showed me that I think you would be really interested in. They are a New Jersey-based band. They're punk, a little bit of rock. They're a very fun band. They're called Halogens. I've had them on my In the Mix playlist before. I really think you should listen to them because they like fit right in your niche of like that kind of punk rock, fast paced, really like nice. And their songs are so like they really connect at times. It's a lot about growth and change and dealing with that kind of thing. So I think you should definitely check out Halogens. But for my 2020 artists, 2 of which I have talked about so much and I will continue to talk about so much. Both of them dropped an album in 2020. I love both of their albums. Easily my number one, my boy, my go-to guy, my man who has gotten me through so many depressive periods, Joji, George Miller. Joji's Nectar album was just so damn good. It was everything I wanted from a Joji album. Like Ballads 1 was what I didn't discover Joji because of Ballads 1. I found him out before that. I listened to his EPs and I was like, kind of on it. And then Tommy was there when I got into Ballads 1, and it was all I listened to for months.
It was his religion.
And it was so good. It was my religion. And Tommy and I were so excited for Nectar to come out. I showed him every single single that came out, every teaser track. And once it dropped, I was on the train to work and we were just going back and forth. Like, what do you think about this song? And these are my favorite songs. And these are your favorite songs. I've already downloaded these songs. Like it was such a wholesome experience to just be like so enveloped by a record. And Nectar did that for me. It's the first, besides Flume, when I bought his merchandise at Firefly, Joji's the only musical artist whose merchandise I have actually purchased, and I went out of my way to buy it. I have a hat and a shirt. Love it. Love that man. Love that album. Love that music.
Sipping on that sweet nectar.
I am drowning in the nectar, dude. I am like coming to it. Mouth open, oxygen out, filling with nectar.
Love it.
I can't believe we just had a guh on the podcast.
Jesus Christ. All right. The second one is The
Oh,
Weeknd.
man.
Shout out to Jose Feliciano, Weeknd super fan. I still don't understand how After Hours wasn't nominated for any Grammys at all. Completely blasphemous by the whoever they are, Grammy nominator voters, stupid idiots. That album is so much fun. It is such a vibe. It's such good music just to do anything to, whether you're walking, driving a car, riding a bike, laying in bed, crying, who knows? Anything can happen when you're listening to After Hours. It's amazing. And I think The Weeknd did a phenomenal job. And the last artist I will say is Enzo. This is someone who has released like singles throughout 2020. He's a electronic artist, an EDM artist. And I just fell in love with his music because it is my like go-to music when I'm playing video games, specifically Rocket League. Like I don't even play Rocket League with headphones on anymore. I just have my AirPods in, just listening, and it has resulted in me being my highest rank in Rocket League that I have ever had. So shout out to Enzo. Shout out to Overthinker. I love that song. I showed it to Tommy and he was like, this is beautiful. What do you
Yeah, immediate download.
It's a banger. Thank you, Enzo. Shout out to you. And like I said in the Mix episode, I listened to over 500 hours worth of music this year. I have discovered not discovered, but I listened to over 900 artists this year. So music was a huge part of 2020, as much as any forms of media. But enough about me. What about you, Tomathan?
Ooh.
Kind of on the same wavelength as you for the weekend, not getting nominated at all. I feel like Leanne LaHava should have been nominated for her self-titled EP. It came out earlier this year, and it's a little less production heavy, but very songwriter and vocal heavy, and her voice is immaculate. She's had a couple Tiny Desk come out this year. She is a powerhouse that no one knows about. I actually learned about her from good friend Olivia Klein. Shout out to her. I really appreciate that. She has a song called Bittersweet, and it's gorgeous. I don't really know how else to describe her music other than just really smooth, powerful R&B. She's very talented. I hope she eventually gets into the mainstream and just dominates the airwaves, because I think she's very, very talented. Someone that actually did get nominated this year was Jacob Collier. I've been talking about him since the beginning of the year.
Is it Collier or Collier?
Collier. He's from London, so it's not French. But he is a musician's musician, similar to like a comedian's comedian, a comedian who makes comedians laugh, but may not be for everybody. Jacob Collier is a musician's musician because he delves into the theory of everything. He's very into harmonics and stuff of that nature. And he's kind of reintroducing certain theories that we haven't really delved too deep into in the past, and bringing it to the forefront of his music, while also bringing in people like Leanne LaHavas, bringing in people like Ty Dolla $ign, bringing in people like Tori Kelly, and a bunch of other really fantastic acts, and doing a really amazing job of mixing jazz with pop with R&B and all this other stuff. And I think his album, I actually like his second album a little bit more, Jesse Volume 2, but Jesse Volume 3 is nominated this year. I'm very happy for him. And the third act I would like to shout out, I believe, is called Hone, Honne. My friend Shahan actually showed me him earlier during the quarantine. And it's a similar vibe of like somewhat lo-fi, somewhat R&B, just very chill vibes and everything of that nature. I've tried to find a lot of music similar to that this year. And a lot of their songs really hit home, especially later in this year. But I've really enjoyed their music. One Way to Tokyo is something I really enjoyed from them. Their most recent album that came out this year, I've very much enjoyed. And just like a little honorable mention is the band Lawrence. It's a brother and sister act from New York. They have amazing voices. They're kind of funk, but pop at the same time. Really good messages in their songs, and I do really enjoy them.
Very,
Groovy.
very nice. Lots of musical growth coming from everybody. I love to see it. You know what I'm excited for when we do this again next year at the end of 2021, if we're still even doing this, we will be. We'll just be, I'm going to speak it into existence. We'll be doing it. Everyone's going to have professional looking cameras. We're all going to have microphones. We may even be in the same space. Who knows? 2021 could be baller.
I might not be alive.
You're not going to say that. You're not going to say that.
This is a positive episode, okay?
Yes, it is. And that was a joke.
is approaching age 68, which is
yeah, true. Ryan,
very old.
Ryan might succumb to arthritis in 2021.
Yeah.
Arthritis is lethal. So
yeah, he's lethal. It won't even kill him. It'll just make him immobile.
The good thing is,
just
if you
too brittle.
repeat this entire podcast again, and you won't remember.
All right, well, back to what I was saying. The one thing I'm excited for in 2021 is when we do this again next year, and I get to say that one of my top 5 artists of 2021 would be that 5-song EP from Valentino Petrarca. So,
yes,
yay,
sir! It will happen.
I thought you were going to hit the head. I thought you were going to hit your head on your wall. You cocked back for that one.
Yeah, that. I really appreciate that. I hope so. Like that would be. At this point, if I could actually write and release a 5-song EP, that's like a childhood dream, an adolescent dream, a high school dream, an adult dream. Like it's just, it would fill me with enough gratitude to last a lifetime. But yeah, let's hope I can get my shit together
As the
It'll
Joker
happen.
would say, all you need is a little push, and you'll get that this year, and it will happen this upcoming year, I should say.
Yep.
Because normally Val is like a dog chasing cars. He wouldn't know what to do if he got his hands on one.
I've always said Val is just a lost puppy, and we all love him for it.
Yeah, kind of. I'm telling you, the next quarantine catch-up, I'm gonna be fully naked, covered in olive oil, just duct tape on my nipples and Cheerios in my mouth. It's gonna
Perfect.
be wild.
Okay, well,
YouTube will love us.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we'll totally be able to put that up on the internet. Maybe not on YouTube, maybe on Reddit or like 4chan or something.
Vimeo.
All the way back to
Yeah.
E-Bomb's world.
Vimeo, where Bill
Vimeo.
Pace's videos live.
We'll make it #1 on Daily Motion is what we'll do.
Oh my gosh.
No, we'll resurrect Vine just to put it there.
Yeah.
7-second increments.
7
7-second increments. It'll fill the whole year.
Wow.
Instead of one pixel of a picture, it's 7 seconds each day for the whole year.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Well, guys, this has been so much fun. I appreciate all of you so much. And to all of our other One Shot Entertainment colleagues, Rob Ruskowski, Jillian Yarzen-Bowitz, Ivana Freitas,
Christian
Olivia
Gardner.
Klein, Christian Gardner, Frank Frasco. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you three who are here with me. I appreciate all of our subscribers, all 66 of you. I know some of you are in this room right now or in this call right now, including myself. Thank you to everyone who has ever watched, listened, liked, thought about watching, shared. Like Tommy and I were talking about at the beginning of this podcast, this channel has really been the one thing that I think has really drove us to be better in any sense of the word, whether it's creatively, personally, mentally, even physically. Val can do 120 push-ups in a day. Look at that man go.
I'm gonna have a special request.
What's that?
Roast me in the comments. Roast me in the comments. Thanks. That's it.
You could if you want, but he might come beat you up with his big man muscles.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I was saying, thank you so much. This
My
year
God.
has been hard on every single one of us, and I'm sure everyone else who watches this video or doesn't has had some kind of challenge. We are proud of you for making it through it. We are excited to continue giving you stuff to watch and listen to in 2021. We are excited to do anything that anyone is interested in watching because we are trying to do something that we love. For one final time in 2020, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to One Shot Entertainment and have a wonderful day.